Right. Okay. So I don't know if you are with me on this one, audience, people listening, people tuning in. Thank you for coming along. But I just have one thing that I wanted to share about my experience when buying cars or going to a mechanic, right? And I don't know about you, but I don't want to sound like a broken record, like, oh, I'm a girl walking into a garage. But come on, like, even in 2023, there is still that pressure, that anxiety that I don't know if you're feeling me here, but I certainly get as confident as I am. And I can stand on my own 2 feet and I will give it back to whoever who gives it to me. But when I walk into a garage or when I'm on my way to get like my car serviced or MOT'd, or if I'm looking to buy a car, I've got this feeling that I feel like, okay, it's just going to be a bunch of guys. Two things I'm feeling, right? It's going to be a bunch of guys in that showroom, right? And they're either all going to stare at me up and down, try and make some pleasant, do you know what I mean? Like they try and make some nice comments. And I know they don't mean ill and they don't want to be nasty, but like it's a bit intimidating because I'm probably walking in, in like a yellow ball gown, as I'm often wearing, and so I'm not actually looking discreet myself, but then I'm walking in and I'm like, oh god, I really don't want like comments or awkward moments. So that's one thing that I get really nervous about. And then the other thing I get nervous about is, are they going to shaft me? They're going to absolutely just give me, they're going to charge me double, or they're going to tell me that I actually need XYZ servicing when actually I don't really need that because I've just spoken to my dad on the phone and he's explained everything that I need. And that's the first person I call. I call my dad. I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, this light is flashing. And it's just so funny, right? Because every time how I explain it, I don't know if anyone's ever been through this, but I'm like, Dad, I can hear a noise in the car and it's like, and I'm like trying to explain. He's like, Roz, what are you talking about? And I'm trying to explain. I'm like, yeah, that car sound that makes like e, and that's how I'm explaining it to him, because I feel like an idiot having to explain that to someone in a garage who then looks at me and is like, why is she doing that? So to build up my confidence, I don't know what you guys do, but I just call my dad, I call my husband, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I need to go to the garage, but I don't want them to kind of, lie to me or tell me that I need XYZ when I don't. So that's just sad. That's a sad reality, I think, that I don't feel confident enough, or that I feel, intimidated by having to go to a garage. So today, the absolute money honey that I've invited on the show to come and talk to me about this and talk to you about this feeling, about being a female trying to buy a car, or a female trying to go to a garage. What does that feel like? What can we do? How can we improve our self-confidence and our value? How can we stand on our own 2 feet and be confident with this? So I have got for you the ultimate money honey on the show that is going to break this down for us. She's absolutely killing it in the car financing space, because this money honey is all about empowering females with the knowledge that they need to make an independent financial decision, right? So as you know, this show is all about women in finance, property and construction. And Elizabeth McQuillan from Flamingo Car Finance is here with us today to talk to us about her fast success within the sales and entrepreneurship sphere, but especially as a female within the car world and the finance world. So she is definitely well equipped to explain to us exactly how we need to act, behave, talk and feel, how we should really embrace this part of our daily lives, right? We need to, either buy a car or get our car serviced, but how can we do this? So I can't wait to bring her on the show. Stay tuned. Here she is. She's coming. Hello there, Elizabeth.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. I'm great, and I'm super excited for you to help me today and help anyone listening how we can embrace this world that kind of intimidates us, right? So thank you for being on the show. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. And thank you so much for having me on here. It's an absolute privilege.
Yes, and this is the first time we're actually speaking because we met on Instagram. So I've been following you on Instagram because we have a friend in common. And they put you forward for the show, which was amazing. I love people raising their hand and saying, hey, I want to come on the show. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Now, I gave a brief intro into who you are and what you do, but please give us your own intro. Tell us all what you do and why you are here today.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, I felt like I found you about 6 months ago, and it was your branding that really drew me to you. And very, very similar to you, I'm all about branding. So wherever you are, you're in the yellow, and I absolutely adore that. Likewise, wherever I go, I'm in the pink, and everyone goes, "That's the Flamingo girl." You know, I get so many people sending me messages going, "I saw this in the airport, or I bought this, and I want to give it you," and it's a flamingo. And I'm like, brilliant. The branding is doing its job. And obviously, when I saw you and your branding, I thought, this girl is she's one of us. She's definitely one of us. And when you're referring back to the lady that reached out to you, she's actually my social media manager. So I'd said, right, okay, what I want, for the next sort of 6 months, I want to be getting on more podcasts. And she said, oh my God, I found somebody who's so aligned with you, Liz. Wait till I do an intro. And I was like, I've been following this girl. I love her already. So
I didn't realize. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's really, really flattering. Thank you so much. Like, obviously, I wore the pink for you today. I mean, there's pink in my brand as well. So I wanted to go all flamingo. And you know what? Flamingos are actually my spirit animal. Like, I definitely, flamingos. I mean, I don't know the history of flamingos, or I've not studied them, but I just love the fact that it's a bird, right? But it's not just any bird. It's like pink-tastic bird out there, doesn't blend in with anything, like literally no blending whatsoever, stands on one leg, like, so I can do this, you can't, just that sassiness that I get from flamingos. I'm like, I am totally a flamingo. So I think this is meant to be, obviously you were attracted to the branding, I was attracted to your branding. So many people underestimate branding, don't they?
I think, listen, we're females and we're in a very male dominated industry, the pair of us. So I think, what do we do best to stand out? Well, we make branding that is so female and so, so bold and so stand out. And so not male. That's what we do. We stand out.
And do you know what though? 99% of my customers are male. So I was really nervous. Yeah. So majority of my customers, definitely 99% are male. The only time I talk to a lot of women is on the Money Honey podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I was really nervous about launching and rebranding my business, because when I first branded it, it was like very boring, plain, like black, yellow, and white. So like bee theme. But then I rebranded and came out with this like ombre, yellow, pink, and orange. And I was really nervous that I might alienate the men. And I didn't want to be like a girly brand. I didn't want it to be girly. But if anything, it's attracted more of both sides, right? Both male and female. But it's been an amazing journey for me. But anyway, we're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about Flamingo Car Finance. Tell me, how did this story begin? Where did it happen? How did it happen?
So this is a completely accidental career, okay? I studied performing arts at university. I was a drama and English teacher for 14 years, high school. And it was only upon meeting my hubby, Phil, that I then fell into it, because he had car dealerships. That's what he did. So, he was he wasn't one of those lurky meerkats that I call them, that kind of see a female coming in and pounce. He was just a genuinely nice guy. And he'd seen that basically, although I was a teacher, I had theatre schools that are set up. I had a franchise of the theatre schools as well. I also had a casting and modelling agency. So he knew that, listen, this girl can work, but she is obsessed with building businesses. So he was like, okay, Liz, I've got this business idea, which I would like you to come on board with. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm open to anything. And he just said, okay, I sell cars. He said, but I've seen this, there's a change in the industry with the finance whereby you don't have to get the finance from the dealership. So he said, why don't we just create a UK brand and go sort of UK wide, and anybody can do it remotely, but they can come to us as a brokerage. We can facilitate them with the finance, and then they can go and buy a car from any reputable dealership. So I was like, okay, this works. He says, listen, we've got lots of time on our hands in the evenings, so kind of jump in. You know, I can teach you everything I know, but then I want you to go and run with it. And like a road runner that I am, picked me up, put me down, and I just ran with it. But interestingly enough, I was due to leave school. So I'd made that big decision after 14 years. No, I'm definitely leaving the teaching industry. And 2 weeks before I was leaving, at the same day I was leaving work, we were flying to the Maldives to get married. But 2 weeks prior to that day, COVID hit. So I went back to school and said, okay, any chance I can kind of like stay on? And they said, well, we've got somebody in your position now that we're having to pay, so we can't afford you both. And I was like, oh my God, you're joking me. So yeah, the wedding was cancelled. But most importantly, at this point, I was like, wow, what am I going to do? So it was definitely a sink or swim moment. It was either, right, Liz, you bury your head in the sand and you just go, oh my God, life is so rubbish. Or you go, wow, I'm going to make this work. And that's exactly what I did. So every single morning in COVID, I got up at the same time as I would have done going to work, got myself dressed, got myself sat behind that laptop and just networked online like a crazy ass woman. And listen, within about, and it was, I mean, I still look back and go, oh my God, I think it was about six weeks to 2 months. I was doing 10K months because, you know, I was brand new. I was just, like you said, networking like a crazy woman. And that's when I kind of realized that females were actually where I was best placed, because I had this genuine desire to help females. Because going back to what you said at the very beginning, you know, we're not taught at school how to really understand finance, cars, how to negotiate. So, I mean, before I'd got with hubby, I'd been into, you know, the big dealerships. And like I said, meerkatted me, like, oh, here she is. She's got a pair of heels on, running over. And I'd sit down and be like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like, what? And they'd go, oh, we've got you a new car for this price. And I'd be like, okay, is that good? I'd be thinking, I ain't got a clue. And I got into a cycle of having the same car, but on 2 cycles. So I'd had a BMW 1 Series, then I went back to upgrade and they put me in the same car, but a newer version. And then my hubby was like, why are you driving like the same car? You were driving that before a New Year and now you're driving the same one. And I was like, I think I'm stuck in this cycle. I think you get stuck. And he went, no, that's absolutely rubbish. I was like, oh my God, so I can have a different car. And he was like, yeah. So he kind of taught me everything I know. And I thought, by hook or by crook, I'm going to help as many females as possible to just overcome this fear of not having the knowledge of knowing what is a good or bad, you know, offer, deal, you know. And that's kind of where I've come from and where I'm going.
That is fantastic. That is flamingo-tastic. That is, yeah, I love these stories that are born out of sheer, I can't say coincidence or luck or accident, like, because accidents don't happen without intention. Like, there's total intention. Like, you were meant to be right here, right now. And I have a very similar story for those who have been following me for a while. I started my business during COVID as well, because I'd been made redundant. And trust me, I would have done anything to keep my job during that time, because I just thought, what am I going to do? It's the middle of a pandemic. I tried to apply for taxi driving jobs. I tried to apply for stacking shelves at Sainsbury's. They wouldn't have me. Sainsbury's, you're listening to this, yeah?
Missed out there, didn't you?
You could have had the money, honey, in your aisles, but you didn't. So yeah, Sainsbury's wouldn't have me, IKEA wouldn't have me, any truck delivery services. I literally was considering driving a truck. Like, that would have been a whole other brand, right? That I definitely could have slayed that in a different way. But I couldn't get a job for nor love nor money. And that's when literally I decided, like, no, I have to make, like you said, sink or swim. I just started networking and just started. I think, what do you think? What is it that makes a business just go from zero to kapow? Like, what is that? What do you need? What's that ingredient?
So I think 1,000,000% it is your passion, your determination, and your resilience as well. And you do you know what? You're born with that. You can't really teach anyone that. And I think if you are a born winner, it doesn't matter what you apply yourself to, you're gonna win at it. And I think, you know, another thing is as well finding that niche. And I know we hear about it all the time online. Find your niche, 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 niche. But I think that does really help, because if you've
Yes.
got the passion and the determination to make something work, plus you've found a beautiful honey part there, you know, a niche that nobody's hit, then, you know, it is endless.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I also would like to add to that that I think the secret ingredient is
Mhm.
struggle. Okay. When you
Mm.
are struggling and you are hungry and you
Yeah.
are in turmoil, that's when you
Mhm.
do anything and everything it takes to make it happen. How many years have you probably sat in a job where you're being well paid and you've got this little thing in the background you're thinking about, like this little side hustle is what we all used to call it,
Yeah.
and you know, this little business idea, and you just always wait for the perfect moment. You think, oh, just when and someday I'll. And
Yeah.
actually, that someday never happens when you're in a cushy job. Like, you have to be struggling. I feel that the only reason, well, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why I did everything I could in my power to make this work is because I had nothing else and I was struggling. I was really
Right.
struggling. So, yeah, and
Mm.
I can see that in you. Like, when you obviously went back to get your job back, I think that's exactly the message you needed to hear when they were like, sorry, we've replaced you.
Yeah.
That's the fire that is put in your belly that you knew was there. There was like a little flame, but they were like, sorry, we can't have you back. And you're like,
Mm.
what? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
14
why.
years. 14 years that you can't have me back. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, I'll show you, goddammit.
Yeah, yes, girl. Right, yeah, love that. So come on, let's have it. There's a lot of female listeners here, right? And we've probably all at some point gone into a showroom or a garage or had to call out a mechanic. And what are your top tips for handling ourselves in that situation? How can we manage that situation and really know our shizzle?
So, what I would say is when girls come to me, I kind of do the whole journey for you. Okay. I even can go to the extent of where you don't even have to go to the dealership. You can have the car delivered. Okay. Now, you might say, well, I'm not even involved. No, but I am there, your eyes, your ears, you know, your karate chopping hands to get you the very, very best deal available to you. Now, obviously, we always start with the finance. And as you probably understand, depending on your credit profile, will determine what sort of rate you get, what you can lend, what you're offered. So I kind of always start there. And then I'll say to the girls, right, so you know, your credit profile is brilliant, or we're struggling a little bit, but this is what I can get you. So for, say, for example, £400 a month, we're looking at a cash price of maybe about 25k, for example. And they've always got a really good idea of what car they want, which is brilliant. But we offer a free concierge car sourcing service too. So I'll say, right, if you're not confident enough to go into that dealership, don't go. Okay. I will do the online shopping for you and present you with what you've said to me, what you're looking for. I will present you with my 3 best deals that I know that are out there. And I know that the best because I've worked in this industry now. And I would say, you know, I am an expert. You know, you're not, I am. Let me do the work for you. And then I'll even do the negotiation. So I'll say, right, this is the price of the car. It has been online for X amount of weeks or months. I've done an MOT check and it's got 3 advisories on it. I've done a service check and it's part service history. So I will have done all that in the background. So I'll say, so I know whether or not the price that it's up for is a good price or whether we've got some a bit leverage, you know, some moving in that price point. So I'll do that all for them. They'll go, yeah, Liz, just go for it. So I'll do that. I'll come back and I'll go, right, here we go. Next thing you have to do is just put a holding deposit on the car. I'll do all the finance for you. So I send them over the finance docs, you know, check, make sure you're happy with everything. And it's all done remotely. So then when all that's done, I pay the dealership and then it's either, do you want to go and collect the car or do you want me to get it delivered? So the women literally go, I can't believe how easy that was. And I go, well, it wasn't easy for me, like, but it was brilliantly easy for you. And now you've got a new car. And they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I suppose going back to the original question, how do I get them kind of in a situation where they're really positive and confident of going into the dealership. Generally, 95% of the time, they don't go into the dealership. I just keep them, but a barrier between the men and the women, and I just kind of do all that bit in the middle and just make that process as smooth and as kind of as easy and as quick as possible.
Okay, so that is a lot of, that's the done for you service, right? So I appreciate that is sweet, that's neat, that's slick. Obviously, I won't have to lift a finger. You get me exactly the car that I want. Beautiful. Now, obviously, it'd be great if 100% of the audience listening here today would just use you and just be like, yeah, just do it for me. But if they were doing it on their own and they wanted to gain that confidence, so some people are like, do you know what? Yes, you can do it for me this once or whatever, but I want to be able to learn some practical skills myself. How can I increase my level of knowledge and my own confidence? Because you keeping that barrier between the men or the car dealership and them bridges the gap for the end result, but actually still keeps them far away from having that knowledge and the confidence. So is there any guidance that you ever offer your own clients or people who just want to do it themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I do have like a step-by-step PDF document that's available for any ladies that want to kind of have that knowledge themselves. And that covers things like, always when you're phoning up for a car or if you're going into a dealership, get the reg first of all. And there's a really easy app called Vehicle Smart where you can put in the reg. It will bring up the MOT history and you can have a little look there and you'll know whether it's had a fail or if it's got any advisories on. That's really, really, really important. And it's having those questions to ask as well, like, I want to know the service history. Okay, is it part? Is it full? Are you going to give me a 12-month MOT? Okay, and if not, why not? Yeah, is it going to be serviced before it goes out? What warranty are they offering? Okay, some offer 30 days, but some offer a year. Okay, so sometimes it's just understanding that that car with 30 days warranty, can I find one with at the same price, but with 12 months warranty? It's things like that, because you do want that cover, you do want that protection, and a warranty for ladies I always find are really important, because should anything happen with the car, like going back what you said, you go to the service center and stuff like that, and you haven't got a clue. You're like, oh, and you just come up with this bill, and you're like, well, what do I do with that? I would always say, look for that warranty, because that is the peace of mind as well. What I would say as well is, in terms of APR, now this is crucial with the finance. Obviously, this is the rate of interest you're going to pay. Obviously, interest rates have gone up quite significantly. So whereas this time last year, we were looking at interest rates of APR of an 8.9%, that was really quite competitive. Now, if a lady came to me and said, what's a good interest rate, Liz? I would say 11.9, 12.9. That's if you've got good credit. But if you've got adverse credit, you're looking at 30% APR. It's tough. What I always do as well is talk them through and try and empower them with the knowledge of the different sorts of agreements as well. So you've got your HP and you've got your PCP. They're your two main differences. Your HP is an agreement where, very much like a bank loan, 10 grand, for example, you spread it over a set term, maybe, 3, 4, 5 years. At the end of that term, you own the car. That's your vehicle. But with a PCP, you can generally access higher priced cars, maybe newer cars. But what you're doing is you're apportioning maybe a third of the price of the car as a balloon payment. So then what you do is, say, for example, it's 15 grand. You've got 5 grand as a balloon payment. Then you spread the 10 grand over the term. So your monthly repayments are a little bit lower. But at the end, you've got this balloon payment to make. So either you can hand the car back, you could refinance it, you could pay it off. Or what a lot of the ladies do, they'll come back to me and we'll then renegotiate and part X that car and just swap it over and kind of go again. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Those are fantastic. No, those are some great top tips there. Thank you for sharing those. And later perhaps in the show notes I can share access to the PDF if you'd like to share it. I don't know if it's a downloadable or a freebie or whatever. I don't mind, but I'll make sure that is available to everyone listening, because that is gold. Just some quick fireside questions here that I'd like to ask there. Just asking for a friend. Do you think it is more valuable or more cost effective to go for a brand spanking new car or to buy secondhand?
So what I would say is this: brand spanking new cars are brilliant in terms of, you are really mitigating any sort of issues, it breaking down or anything like that. Okay. However, when you drive off the forecourt, that price of that car, the equity, it drops quite significantly. So what we always say is maybe go for like a car. The best buy is kind of going for a car maybe 2-3 years old, because it has lost, quite a bit of the equity. You've lost all that. So you're buying a car that's really going to hold its value now. It's not dropped massively in that first sort of 6 months. So that would be my advice. Sort of 2-3 year old cars are a great buy.
Nice. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Okay, these are going to be random questions, okay? I'm just
Okay.
thinking on the spot here. So you break down,
Yeah.
you're a gal on the road, okay, motorway, dual carriageway, we break down. What are your go-to actionable steps that you think, right, as soon as you break down, you boom, 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 that is what you do? What would you suggest?
So first and foremost, I would always say, especially females, make sure you are in the RAC or the AA, okay? Because the minute you break down, you are covered, okay? If you're not, then shame on you, okay? But it is a little bit trickier. Obviously, if you are on the motorway or anything like that, you get onto the hard shoulder. If you can get off the motorway, that is key. And in a lot of your cars, you will have the triangle. Get that out at the back, because that just gives everybody a warning that kind of we are in a little bit of difficulty here. Keep back, keep clear. Get your hazard lights on. And thankfully, we're in the day and age of a mobile phone, which is great. So get on the phone. If you're not with the AA or the RAC, it would be phoning somebody that can help you, be it mum, dad, partner, husband, brother, sister, whoever. And there are lots of, what do we call them? Breakdown services out there as well. So although you might not be kind of paying a monthly payment to the AA, there will be local recovery companies that will come and get you. And your phone, you've got Google, just put in your Google search, local recovery drivers to me. And that would be, the best steps really in that situation.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, love that. And also my top tips for this, because I do a lot of driving in the car. Like I'm always in the car, and sometimes I'm driving dressed up to go somewhere, like a gig or a conference or something like that. So I'm often not dressed in the way I'd like to stand on the side road, as if you know what I mean. So
Absolutely.
one top tip, massive one for me, wherever you're traveling, is always in the boot of your car. It's like another wardrobe for me in there. Like I have flats in there. Yeah, definitely carry flats, definitely carry like warmer wear. So like if you need like a coat, a cardigan or something like that. Also umbrellas for me, because I think my biggest fear is not breaking down, it's breaking down and having to stand outside in the rain. That for me is my biggest fear. Like I hate having to get wet. And yeah, so luckily, touch wood, oh my goodness, it's never happened to me. But I have broken down where well, no, it wasn't a break. Actually, no, it wasn't. I didn't break down. Oh, okay, this was scary. I was on the side of the road on the hard shoulder because I had to stop off and like make a phone call or something. But whilst I was stopped and on my phone with my car switched off, this truck came into the hard shoulder to stop off, but he miscalculated the gap between me and the railings. So he was too close to me and he took off the side of my car of the driver's side. Like it was so scary. But I was just sat there on my phone like, hello, like literally in this car, this van is like, and it scraped the whole front of the bumper and the mirror. And I was like, well, great. Now I'm broken down. Now I'm literally stuck. So I had to sit there for like another hour. Wait, anyway, yeah, that was my drama on the road. Okay, a couple of extra questions I'd like to ask. One, what are you driving, Liz? What kind of car is Liz in, eh? You go on.
I love this. I love this.
Confess.
I don't know. Don't judge me, but I'm in this industry, so I'm going to have a pretty nice car. So I've got a fully electric Porsche Taycan, which it's gorgeous. It's crayon grey. It's not pink, and it's got Flamingo private reg. Of course, it has.
Oh, amazing! I love that. Please share a picture with me ASAP.
I will do.
Actually, you've just made me think of another question. What are we doing? Should we go electric? Should we go hybrid? Should we stay, you know, what are we doing?
So what I would say is we've gone fully electric. I don't do loads of huge journeys though. We probably travel, I mean, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours max. Okay. So electric is perfect for us. We've got our little charger outside the house. And that is great. You know, it really is cost effective in terms of fuel and stuff like that. But if it is that you do travel quite a lot, like you, hybrid would be good. Hybrid would be a good move because obviously you do have the charge. So you'll maybe get 50, 75 miles on the charge, but then you'll kick into your fuel as well. And if you're in a situation where, you know, you're running out of fuel, it's far easier still to go and fuel up in terms of, you know, petrol, diesel than it is to plug in the electric car. In all honesty, I'm not sure that this country is yet fully, you know, where it needs to be in terms of charging electric cars. So it works for me, but bearing in mind, we do have another car as well, that if we're doing longer journeys, family and stuff like that, we just jump in there. And that is just a normal sort of, I think that's a diesel, that one. So yeah, but we are looking at then exchanging that for a hybrid.
Yes. Okay. No, thank you for that, because we've currently got a Kia, and yeah, it's full, you know, it's unleaded, so it's not electric, it's not hybrid, but it's due for a change at some point.
Yeah.
Teslas, yay, nay? Oh, go on.
Say that again. Yeah.
Oh no.
With that as well, with businesses as well, it's interesting to if you're going to put the car through the business, the company, okay, because this will be good for your audience. It's all about the emissions as well. So electric and very low emission hybrid is going to have either zero or very low benefit in kind. So if you are putting it through the company, this is really important to consider. Do not be getting a massive big Range Rover, because the benefit in kind is just not going to be worth it.
No. I'm thinking, so that's why I said, right. So thank you for that. That's hugely valuable. I think we went down to a one car household during COVID. So we had to. So my husband had his and I had mine with the company that I was working with. That got driven away. And then because I got used to over lockdown, like walking a lot, but also my husband either works from home or he just gets to train into King's Cross. Actually, he doesn't need a car other than when we're together over the weekend. So we do want to remain as a one car household, because I do like the idea of us like reducing that congestion, that traffic, that, you know, protecting the environment in our own way, but also it's, you know, more cost effective to just have one car. So we probably will put it through the business, but I need to then cross check that, because it's not going to just be business use though. So I might not be. Yeah.
I mean, always check with your accountant there. I think when you're using it personally, and obviously you buy it as an asset of the company, but also you're using it personally. So what that impacts is if it was purely an asset of the company and you didn't use it, there's VAT that you can claim back and things like that. I'm not a pro, and I would always say speak to your accountant, but I'm pretty sure if you are using it for personal use, obviously you have got that element of benefit and kind tax to pay. But I think it's the VAT that you can't claim fully back if you use it.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's fine. I've got an accountant, so we'll probably discuss that when this car is due to we're due to change it. I did have another question, which maybe a lot of electric fans out there might be asking or thinking, which is Teslas, yay, nay? What do we think?
Okay. So I looked at all the different electric cars. What I would say is a Tesla, great in terms of the functionality of it and things like that, but it's just a little bit tinny. Yeah, it's a bit tinny when you shut the doors and stuff like that. When you've got the Porsche, you're like, it's substantial. And I think, listen, Porsche purely make cars. Tesla, it's they weren't made to, what's it called? Why am I not?
They weren't like original car manufacturers, were they?
Exactly.
They just I know what you mean. Like, obviously you want like a solid, stable car, like, the Fords of the world, or the like you say, the Mercedes, for example, BMW. These are like pure car manufacturers. So I'm feeling myself a little Porsche. I don't know, but I'm really liking Mercedes. Like, what would you say to an everyday working woman who wants, you know, a car that is versatile for both family and solo journeys. Like, what would you say is like the go-to popular car right now?
So we deal more in prestige rather than your sort of you know, your broader spectrum. So we do a lot more of the Mercedes, the Audis, the BMWs. That's probably our market really. What I would say, what stacks up really well on a PCP is the GLA. So the Mercedes GLA.
That's
Now, if
what I
that's
want. I like that one. Yes, I want the Mercedes GLA. Yeah.
not huge, it's a small SUV, but if you've not got, you know, loads of kids and dogs, then it's great. It stacks up really well, as do the Jaguar E-Pace as well. So the Jaguar E-Pace is good, but what I would say, this is really important for ladies, be mindful of the diesel engine because you have a lot of issues with the DPF. Now, this might be just completely foreign to some girls, but basically there's a filter in your car that, because of the diesel engine, its job is to clean up the rubbish in the fuel. But what happens quite a lot is it gets full and it can't. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bore everybody, but if possible, if you can afford it, try and go for the petrol.
Okay, yeah. So we've always had, unleaded, petrol, basically petrol cars. Yeah. Okay, well, yes, this is girls talking cars. Hey, look at us. Yeah, what? I don't know if you just heard that really loud car just driving past in the background, but okay, good. So I really enjoyed this car. I'm not a car person. I don't like cars just for like, I've never had like a showy off car, right? Let's just, not that there's anything wrong with it at all. I just never have been into that. I think when you have, you know, when I've always worked, right now I'm in business, it's a bit different, but at the end of the month, when you've got like your set wage, you're like, right, do I want 70% of this to go towards this car, or do I want a holiday? So for me, the option was always holiday and clothes, you know, and shopping and stuff like that. So I never went for the expensive cars. I've only ever, guys, can you believe it? I'm 33 now, right? I've only ever bought one car in my entire life. And so let me show you my car story, Liz, see if you like it. So I saved and saved and saved and saved and saved. I actually passed my test like later than normal because I was at uni for 4 years, and then like the driver, the instructor was like on and off. Anyway, so I probably passed like in my early 20s as opposed to much earlier when everyone else gets their license, pretty much. So I was quite a late driver. But I'd been saving and I bought a second-hand car cash. Like I just, you know, saved up the thousands. I think it cost me about £4,000 at the time. And it was a little Vauxhall Tigra, a little two-seater convertible blue. It was super cute. Like I felt so cute in that car. Like I was like, this is my little ride. And it was the closest I could get to like those Porsche or, I really liked the Audi
TT.
Yeah, that's it. The TT. Yeah. So it was the closest I could get to look as close as possible to the Audi TT without actually affording an Audi. So that was my only car. And then when I became a BDM in the financial world, the cars were just given to me by my employer. So I never, basically that little Tigra stayed in the garage for like a year, and then I sold it in parts, you know, like it was just not worth anything. But that's it. I've never bought a car. So now, you know, I've got my business and I'm feeling a little bit more like, you know, stable and much more financially secure. And I want to get us a really nice, solid car. So you may be hearing from me, Liz. Yes, we should. Thank you. We should totally chat offline. But you've been an absolute honey. Like, thank you so much. Thank you for all your valuable top tips and your comments. I really, really appreciate it. I will share your links to social media on in the show notes. Anything you want to say to our listeners before you go?
Just now, it's been an absolute privilege. Thank you so much, Money Honey. I mean, it's just brilliant. I think what you've got here is just fabulous. Catch me. I'm probably more visible in my Facebook group, which is Flamingo Car Finance, and obviously on the website as well. If anybody wants any help, come and find me. It would be an honor to help anybody who needs a little bit of guidance. Thank you so much.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you. And thank you everyone for tuning in. If you do need help, if you want to raise your confidence and, elevate your knowledge on, negotiating, buying your next car, what kind of car should you be buying, then please, please, please follow Liz. I will put all the notes in the show notes. So yes, thank you for tuning in. Bye, guys.